Good evening. Well, last week it was Governor Scott Walker and State of the State. Last night it was President Barack Obama, State of the Union. And tonight it's State of the City with Mayor Zach Verwink. This is democracy in action. I'm Gloria Kubishak, and on behalf of League of Women Voters, welcome to all of you. What a wonderful turnout. We are so very happy that you could be here. We also want to thank the Macmillan Library staff and RCCA staff for being the co-sponsors of this event. This is being telecast live, and also it will be live streamed on rccamedia.org. And Carl Hilke will be playing it on Morning Magazine one of the days this week. RCCA will also be continually replaying it as well if you've got friends and neighbors who want to see it. There's just one housekeeping item that I want to take care of before we begin, and that is the question cards. All of you were given those by a league member upon entering. You please write out your question for the mayor. We'd like you to sign it, put down a phone number and/or email, doesn't matter. But that way, if we can't get to all of the questions, then he can make a personal contact with you. So without any further ado, Mayor Zach Verwink for our second annual State of the City.
Thanks, Gloria. Thank you. Good evening, and welcome to my 2014 and second annual State of the City address. To each of you here this evening, I'm honored, and your city is honored by your presence. Before I begin, I want to express my appreciation to our hosts and sponsors, the League of Women Voters of the Wisconsin Rapids area and Macmillan Memorial Library, and the many volunteers who helped make this event possible. It's both an honor and a privilege to serve this great city of the Wisconsin Rapids and have the opportunity to present the State of our City address. What I will speak to this evening cannot be done by our mayor alone. Action and cooperation by our city council is essential to making things happen. With that, I'd like to acknowledge Alderpersons Chad Worrell, Andrew Kirkpatrick, who is here, Jim Stack, Scott Kellogg, and Tom Rayome for the outstanding work they have done and will continue to do for our city. I'd like to specifically recognize Alderpersons Bob Nash, Marion Hokamp, and Jean Young, who will step aside from their positions this April. Collectively, they have over 52 years of service. That's an incredible amount of time and decision-making. Please join me in expressing appreciation to all of our city council members for their service. Finally, as you may have seen at the reception before taking your seats, we brought City Hall to you. Members of our city management staff are here to be accessible to you and to provide information as to the various functions of their departments. I hope you found this valuable in interacting with them. Further, we owe a great deal of gratitude to all of our city employees for their unwavering commitment to the betterment of our city so that we can deliver the services we're proud to provide. Employees here tonight, I invite you to please stand and be recognized. Please join me. Thank you. I want to begin tonight by showing you this picture. Isn't the view incredible? For me, it's very indicative of my role as mayor. While it isn't from the quote-unquote 30,000 feet, it's the right distance, allowing me to stay focused on the entire city and the very people and businesses within inside of it. Beyond the illustration of my role, it also reminds me of the many assets, realized and unrealized, from the natural beauty resulting in the many recreational opportunities to our built assets, streets and highways, business and industry, airport, and wastewater. Speaking of the infrastructure, people and businesses comprising of the fabric of our community, it reminds me of the rich potential of this city and its people. Just 1 year ago, I stood on this very stage, just 8 months into my first term. I provided a summary of sorts of what I've learned during the short period of time. I introduced 3 core priority areas: Let's take a look at what was mentioned. The first, building a stronger local economy. The second, engaging residents of all ages. And third, finding new, more effective and efficient ways for the city to do business. Economic growth has and will continue to be my top priority. Last year, I pledged to get our city on the map. Specifically, one of the ways I plan to do so was to encourage our city council to support an application to get the city's largest vacant parcel of land considered for certification. The program, announced by the governor in 2010 before I became mayor, was an unrealized opportunity for our city. Here, we had a city industrial park, as you can see, with plenty of available land, industrial infrastructure already installed, but was not marketed to the outside world. It was off the map. The city council agreed and responded favorably. We began the process, knowing full well there was no guarantee of certification. Nonetheless, over the summer and early fall, we worked to gather information, studies, and data to submit the formal application to the state. In October, we hosted a site visit with representatives from the Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation and Deloitte for a formal evaluation. And on November 26th, the CEO of Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation, the Lieutenant Governor, and I announced that Wisconsin Rapids would be certified, the 13th and only site green-lighted by the state in 2013. I'm proud of the work of those involved to get this done. Let me say, while it's great to have the certification, and as I said during the announcement, it's ultimately what we do with that certification. I'm proud to say that the site is now marketed nationally and internationally by the state as a shovel-ready site for development. Coupled with the marketing, the designation ensures the proper approvals and certifications have been secured, shortening the timeline for a developer to be open from under normal approval circumstances from a year or longer to a period as quickly as construction can be completed. We continue to actively respond to inquiries about the site. Last year, I spoke about the need to address vacant, blighted, or possibly contaminated properties. Like you, I pass by them weekly and sometimes daily. Progress has been made in this area. Over the past year and a half, I have made contact with dozens of property owners, encouraging them to take advantage of brownfield environmental assessment dollars that have been granted to the city. Ultimately, it is our goal, by proactively partnering with property owners, we can identify potential contamination that may stand in the way of redevelopment or resale. Here's a map of the properties that we've targeted. And to date, we've progressed with over 60 parcels, as you can see, indicated by the map. I've covered areas on what we're doing for future businesses and prospects, but what about existing businesses? Over the past year, 35 business retention and expansion visits were conducted in the city, bringing the total over the last year and a half to over 50. That's representing 1,800 employees of businesses in our community. It's through these visits, in partnership with our Chamber of Commerce, that we learn the challenges and opportunities of our small and mid-sized businesses. We plan to continue this strategy in 2014. One such example was a local business that was in the toy and distribution business. They're a sleepy business and many people don't realize exists in town. It was at that visit that we learned that they're out of space at their existing facility. They wanted to stay in Rapids, but hadn't secured the location. I'm proud to say they now have acquired property in the Westside Industrial Park, and even better, they've got plans to incorporate another business into the space with them. Having covered some of the accomplishments we've achieved over the last year in growing our local economy, let's discuss what's planned in this priority area for this year. Let me say, I'm excited, and I hope you are too. Last May, I was invited to participate in the Mayor's Innovation Summit, hosted by Mayor Nutter of Philadelphia, the U.S. Conference of Mayors, and Temple University. While considering the invitation, I wondered what return on investment might the city get through my attendance. After reviewing the agenda, list of other mayors, technologists, and companies planning to attend, I committed. The summit included mayors leading cities large and small, all focused on addressing how technology can play a role in a community's local economy. And this takes me to an exciting announcement. We know small businesses are the backbone of our local economy. Businesses have always needed to be where their customers are. And in today's world, people are online. We know the internet is where we go to find things. It has been shown that 97% of Americans who use the internet also utilize the web to look online for local goods and services. Further, statistics show that businesses that are online expect to grow at 2 times as fast. But that isn't good news for businesses that are not online. It puts them at a disadvantage. I've heard from local businesses how it can be a struggle to get their business online. And that's why Wisconsin Rapids is partnering with Google, joining their mission to get businesses online. Partnering with Google will afford all Wisconsin Rapids businesses, large and small, the opportunity to take advantage of tools and resources to establish and increase their online presence. The best part is that all of these tools are free. Businesses will get a website, a domain name, web hosting, all free for 1 year. Further, Google will make it easier for local businesses to be found via searches and maps, easily accessible from any web-enabled device. This program will make it fast, easy, and free for customers to get online. But Google didn't stop there. They even sent our city plenty of swag to spread the word about this exciting partnership. It was at this Mayor's Innovation Summit last May, that our city was exposed to business leaders from across the nation, from startups to those established like Google. And this partnership is a demonstration of that. Last Thursday, a team from Google recorded our own commercial to market the initiative in the coming weeks. Small businesses are the backbone of our economy, as I've said. Their stories help make up the Wisconsin Rapids story of success. And that is why I'm proud to launch this initiative right here in our city. In recent years, opportunities for development and projects have occurred, and the city has had to work reactively, an unenjoyable situation for everyone. Specifically, I'm referring to instances where outdated ordinances, the absence of a formal policy, or infamous red tape has established and resulted in roadblocks or delays. I'm pleased to say that we are forming an internal advocacy team with a person from each city department. This team is formally known as CBAT, or Citywide Business Advocacy Team. This cross-department team will work collaboratively and act as problem solvers. By looking at past projects and inhibitors, the team will proactively review ordinances and policies. An example of this effort was the creation of an ordinance that allowed for outdoor cafes passed shortly after I became mayor. Another example could be whether or not we want to wait for a food truck entrepreneur to show up to City Hall with their business or proactively create an ordinance allowing them. All in all, a team of advocates inside City Hall charged with proactively reviewing ordinances will result in modern ordinances and the possible creation of business opportunities. Beyond proactive approaches, businesses consistently remind me that ease of use is very important to them. Anyone trying to navigate existing city services and resources online will learn it's anything but easy to use. Accessing available city resources shouldn't be a chore in this city. In response, I'm happy to announce Grow Rapids, a simple, easy-to-use local portal available 24/7, 365 days a year. Businesses and prospective businesses will have access to resources on demand, on their schedule, without squeezing in a trip to City Hall during the day. This site will connect those with information on business planning, loans, expanding a customer base, just to name a few. The site will serve as the official gateway of the Planning and Economic Development Department. This portal is just one of the many ways we're making City Hall easier to use. Our city must also consider this data in its decision making. I'm specifically referring to vital economic indicators. This spring, we plan to release our first current economic state in a simple and easy-to-use report. Is job growth occurring in our city? How many new businesses have started? Are household incomes improving on average in the city? This data will give us a dashboard to measure our progress. Focusing on specific areas to grow our local economy will continue to be my top priority. Listening to business owners and drawing on the successful strategies of other cities must occur for us to be successfully compete. The launch of these tools and initiatives in direct response to the feedback gathered over the past year show that our city has increasingly become a place where we welcome business growth. Because when businesses grow, businesses hire people. And when more people have jobs, more money is spent in our community. In America and in this community, we have a proud tradition of service and volunteerism. This takes me to our next priority. In last year's address, I introduced the need to support opportunities for our residents to engage and to participate. Since that time, we have forged a partnership with a national organization of mayors founded by New York City Mayor Bloomberg. Bloomberg said when he launched the initiative, "Mayors everywhere are dealing with diminished budgets and heightened need. In cities of service, we're working to optimize one of the resources still in great supply, the willingness of people to help each other." I'm not sure I could have said it better myself. Becoming a city of service gives us access to resources from the likes of the Home Depot Foundation and ideas from other cities of service. Beyond just the commitment to support service opportunities, measurable results have been produced. We launched Rapid Serves as the means to engage Wisconsin Rapids residents to help solve our most pressing needs with volunteer-fueled solutions. Last May, 40 residents in Ward 1, led by Alderman Chad Worrell and resident Kathy Rosh, who is here this evening, completed the first Love Your Block initiative. It was through resident participation that not only was a single cleanup done in May, but a second, just as impactful cleanup done in October. All in all, they collected 2 semi-loads of electronics, palleted 7 feet high, raked dozens of yards, and removed over 600 tires, all in a matter of a couple of blocks. I don't know where they were storing those tires. This was the first of what I hope will be of many Love Your Block projects led by residents in our city. This spring, I will announce the opportunity for residents to apply for support of projects in their own neighborhood, just like in Ward 1. A second example of a resident-led, city-supported project is that of our Growing Friends Community Garden, located just down the street from here, the first of its kind in the city. While we couldn't find a convenient location on city property, Riverview Hospital graciously supported the vision. The city contributed mulch and compost, and it even drew some time and energy from our Congressman Ron Kind through his Kind Communities initiative. And this year, residents will be invited to participate and lead mayor's councils on beautification, public art, and sustainability. Max, an elementary student who wrote me after I visited his classroom, "Dear Mayor Vrewink," here's his letter, "thank you for coming to the classroom. We should have more artwork and paint our city." Notice the words "we" and "ours"? Young people want to participate, and we should give them this opportunity, and the city should support it. To this end, youth are increasingly so having a seat at the table and a voice when decisions are being made about the future of our community. I'm pleased Brian Davis. Brian, would you please stand? A high school student at Assumption and youth city council members here this evening and leading this effort. Why does this matter? Research shows that service matters in unexpected ways. Volunteering is associated with stronger communities, measurable health benefits, and academic achievement, just to name a few. But that is just part of it. Service experiences prepares youth and adults to become active citizens. Through volunteer experience, people learn more about the challenges our community faces and are more likely to take on leadership roles. It's through these opportunities that I've personally experienced pride in our community in the most unsuspecting ways. I must say there's no substitution for the incredible feeling when a resident explains to me how proud they are to be making a difference in their own neighborhood. Daily, we undertake dozens of different roles and tasks between our time at work or our time at home. Where we spend our time beyond work or home is what's called the third space. This takes me to my next subject. From a city perspective, the third space could be any number of places. Our 21-mile trail system, Witter Field, our zoo, or skate park. For a city our size, we have much to be proud of. It doesn't take long to recognize the priority we place on our public spaces. Tonight, I want to draw attention to the areas of improvement, particularly our parks. It isn't the number of our parks. We have 14. It's not the size of our parks. We have over 100 acres. It's what's in our parks that draws people to spend time in them. The recent addition of a 9-hole disc golf course in Robinson Park, the resurfacing of Sandlot's basketball court, and bleachers at the skate park are all positive enhancements. But we can do more. Many of our shelter houses are aged and need much updating. The most recent playground equipment installation was in Ben Hansen Park in 2008, and others, some decades before that. Today, I will call for a multi-year investment in our parks. The natural beauty of our city on the river can be a destination for visitors and further a more attractive place for residents and future residents. The connectedness of our existing trails and our city zoo all present opportunities. Did you know that over 8 of our city parks line the banks of the Wisconsin River? From dam to dam, there is strong potential for investment enhancements and amenities to make some of them the best of any city around. But in order to do so, we need a process that involves our residents. You here this evening and watching at home. This year, we will invite residents to participate in sharing their ideas, and some already have. In fact, my goddaughter Maya, who's here, she's 6, recently asked me, "Can we get a park like Stevens Point?" In December, I received a stack of letters from a 3rd grade class I had visited. Libby said, "I think you can make a garden in each park and plant flowers and bushes, and you should get new equipment for the parks every 4 months." Now, while 4 months may not be realistic, we can probably do better than every 6 years or longer. Jane Jacobs once said, "Cities have the capability of providing something for everybody, only because and only when they are created by everybody." As a community, we have always needed to make quality of place investments. Public places can be multi-use, public destinations, and I'd say our parks are ripe for that. It is without doubt they will create strong economic synergy of the land surrounding them. Beyond our parks is our city pool. Last year, the tank literally lifted out of the ground on one side. The pool, installed in 1978, is beyond its expected life. The original mechanical system and plumbing system has presented many challenges. While we may continue to buy time year after year, a permanent solution must be found. Not in 10 years, but in the next few. The days are gone of cities building outdoor pools by themselves only to be used 3 months out of the year, at best. Earlier this year, it was reported the city is exploring how we might find a solution by working with community partners, such as the Southwood County YMCA. We can all agree we need a sustainable model, and one that is more cost-effective and one that demonstrates financial responsibility to the taxpayers and its contributors. It's my position that we have the opportunity to improve the quality of life through such a partnership for not only our city, but our region. I commit to continued participation in the dialogue until a solution is reached. I hope our City Council will also make a commitment. Further, I promise to include the community when options are considered. A third area I've called for is creating a more efficient, streamlined, and modernized city government. Last year, I talked about how I approach city leadership by first seeking to understand how our city operates. City functions like hopping in a snowplow during a snowstorm or taking a ride along with our police department night shift right here. These experiences and the countless others have been extremely valuable in giving me the proper understanding and perspective to pursue improving our operations. It was through these conversations I heard with employees when I was experiencing these things that they hadn't had the opportunity to submit ideas for improvement before. How are we going to achieve success in streamlining government operations to be more efficient, effective, and customer-friendly? Well, it's simple. Get those who perform the duties day in and day out focused on improving them. I called for our City Council to support an investment in our employees. Following consideration and healthy debate, the City Council agreed and passed funding to support process improvement, training of all of our in-city employees. I'm happy to say a group of 30 employees completed 16 weeks of Lean Six Sigma training this past fall. I, along with department heads, Alderperson Kellogg, and frontline city employees, were trained to analyze processes and to define and detect areas for improvement. It was then the Rapid Improvement Initiative was born. For the first time, all employees were invited to participate and to submit their ideas for potential projects. Focusing on continuous process improvement is, well, continuous. Employees on project teams are now given the opportunity to stop what they might otherwise be doing and focus on improvement projects within the city. So what kinds of projects are underway? Well, 7 teams are working on their first round of projects, such as here at the library. When you request an item from another library, it gets delivered here, and that item goes through a process to get to you. After analyzing the process, measuring the current state, and proposing improvement, your delivery holds are now available before 2 p.m. as opposed to after 5 p.m. As you can see, it isn't about reducing personnel, but reallocating that time elsewhere. In this case, 3 hours every day to something else. What benefits does this provide the residents? Well, as you can see the long list here, we've got a Department of Business inspections where our police and fire chief are leading a project to go through our business inspection process in our community. And as business owners, you might ask them, if you're one yourself, the city has to be in your business a bit. And if you can reduce that time or minimize that time, all the better. Plus, it allows us to do something else with that time. So what benefits does this provide the residents? Well, simple. More efficient and effective use of tax dollars. Simpler and easier to understand processes, and improved experiences for our customers, for you, our residents. I've said, simply because we've always done something a certain way isn't always a good enough reason for us to continue doing them that way. We need data to back it up, and that's what continuous process improvement is all about. Today, project teams from across departments, here we have the city engineer talking about the voice of customer, why it's important to listen to you, our residents, in the process of special assessments. Further, to work collaboratively to improve customer service and reduce waste, both time and money. I'm pleased of the progress that this initiative has already experienced in such a short amount of time and with such a small investment of money, under $10,000. Even more exciting, our efforts have gotten noticed internationally. Just recently in January's Industrial Engineer magazine. Last year, I promised enhancements to our city budgets and have delivered on that promise. For the first time, planned activities are associated with many line items from the mayor's budget to engineering, streets, and parks. Now residents have the benefits of greater transparency and can understand the precise cost of budgeted activities and functions. For example, what's the investment in the operation of our city zoo, Christmas decorations, city pool? Activity-based budgeting will again be of focus as we prepare our budget for 2015. A final note tonight on technology. Last year, I stressed the need for us to continue to modernize our processes. I'm pleased to say that residents can now sign their children up for recreation programs, pay property taxes, pay citations, apply or renew a whole array of permits, or file a code enforcement complaint, all online. And that list continues to grow. In the area of GIS, the city is collaborating with the Water and Light utility to getting all of our infrastructure, our water, our sewer, our storm, sanitary, electrical lines, converted from paper maps hidden in a file cabinet to records in digital. Not only will this save time and money as steps are eliminated and information is now available on demand anytime, anywhere, but will also increase accuracy and improve productivity. This is what developers expect when they come to our city, because they have this experience in cities all over the country. In the months to come, we'll be able to do so much more in the analysis of data and information. The city's now on Facebook. So after you post your reaction to the address this evening, search and like the City of Wisconsin Rapids on Facebook. Just one more way we're connecting with our residents. Tonight you heard what's been promised and some of what has been delivered. You also heard what is planned. I hope you will tell your neighbors and friends. Speaking with residents is one of the most rewarding aspects of being your mayor. I appreciate your calls, the emails, office visits, and personal notes of encouragement. Following our conversation tonight, I want you to join me for coffee, breakfast, or lunch. Starting next week, I will publish a location where everyone and anyone is invited to join me. We can talk about what's going on at the city. We can talk about what's going on in your personal life. If you're online, I encourage you to subscribe to my regular community updates from the mayor's page on the city website. As I approach my second year as your mayor this spring, I'm proud of the strong foundation we've laid and the progress we've achieved. I am more excited for what we're about to accomplish in the year and years to come. It's truly an honor to serve this great city. As you've heard tonight, the mayor's role spans far beyond one issue, one neighborhood, or even the city limits. As indicated by this photo, I approach the position from a 30,000-foot view, and it's a beautiful view. I continue to challenge myself to view our city from new perspectives. Here it is, one of my evenings in my kayak. Words cannot capture the deep appreciation I have gained for our city since becoming your mayor. But pictures can. Thank you for your attendance this evening, and to those watching at home. I look forward to your questions. Gloria's got postcards. Excellent. Or note cards. All right. It's hard to see anybody out there.
Thank you very much, Mayor. Here we go. What are you most looking forward to about in the coming year?
I'm most looking forward to in the coming year. Well, you heard about my claim or my call for investments in our parks. And I think this is something that we can get done this year. I don't think, we've got room tax allocation monies that have been accumulating in a fund for a number of years. So we don't need to pass another city budget for us to get that done. I think that we can do that this year and possibly before the snow flies again next year. Let's hope.
Very good. Thank you. How are you going to protect our water? And there's just a little caveat with this. I am pro-business, so be careful.
Well, I'm sure the question is really getting at a current issue potentially. But in terms of protecting our water supply, I think our water and light utility does a great job of always continuously looking for ways to improve their water supply. Now, recognizing our city wells go far beyond the city limits, there's many ways that we can do this. And I think we need to pay attention to what DNR is sending us down from Madison or sending up from Madison in terms of regulations. But I think just leaning on the water and light utility for them to continuously to make sure that they make investments in our water system. In terms of potential water users, I think we need to make sure that, if we're getting at the development question, let's just answer it. You always have to weigh the pros and the cons. There's always trade-offs involved. And I would say in the project, in the case south of town, that we have to be interested and we have to watch that issue closely.
Thank you. What is or will the city be doing to become more sustainable?
Great question. Well, you saw the Mayor's Council on Sustainability. We've not issued an open invite, but we can kick that off tonight. Anybody that's willing and interested in participating. We're looking for city residents, a group of city residents, in fact. Not everyone needs to lead the group, but we need at least a group of residents who are willing to take the issue of sustainability on. And I think there's a lot of work that other cities are far ahead of us in this area. Just a matter of getting residents involved and I think informing myself and city staff on the way that we can take the issue on right here in the city.
Next, what ramifications will there be for neighborhoods in the city in regard to the proposed apartment complex? And what is your perspective?
My perspective is on the question of whether or not there's ramifications for neighborhoods. This housing development is no different than a lot of the housing development that's already been built along 25th Avenue, the development right by the Rapids Mall. So this isn't the first of its kind in our city. So we've been down this before. In fact, frankly, I welcome it. The developer shared some statistics about how our multifamily, low to moderate income housing is very aged. And frankly, I think it offers some competition for the existing owners of property in the community to maybe make some investments in their housing. And I think when I hear from young residents, it's amazing to me, and people that are newly employed, it's amazing to me how many of them live in Plover. It actually drives me crazy. It's not amazing, it drives me crazy. And I think this housing development will serve employees that are working at Mariani, working at maybe Ocean Spray or Rita or McCain's. So I think this housing development will complement the existing housing stock in the city. However, we've had some conversations inside City Hall about what does our housing stock look like? Beyond this one development, are we oversupplied? I mean, we can't look at just the classified ads in the newspaper to determine what's the supply and demand of the housing market. It's an indicator, but it doesn't tell us the whole story. Stevens Point and Marshfield right now are going through comprehensive housing studies, and we've discussed with them to potentially use some of what they've gleaned in their market, recognizing that a lot of our employers employ their residents, and a lot of our residents are employed in their cities. So collectively in the region, I think there's information we can glean from Stevens Point and Marshfield housing studies as well. Long answer to the question, but hopefully you get an idea of what the broader issue to me looks like.
Next question. What provisions were made, if any, for the homeless during this cold snap?
We did have some conversations with the police chief regarding warming shelters, warming locations. We communicated that a little bit, just making City Hall and other places available. The police department did look for any individuals that might be outside and shouldn't be outside. So they did look for individuals. I don't know the answer of how many individuals were picked up and maybe brought into a warming location, but we did make that available and officers were looking for individuals.
Thank you. Two more questions. What is the city doing to increase its recycling rate?
Oh, good question. Well, I happen to know the statistic. We're well below the national average in recycling. So that indicates to us that we have a lot of work to do. We got an award from the DNR. Well, it was a great award because we're the most cost-effective program, but yet we have so much more to do to get residents to recycle more. One of the ways to do so is to increase the size of our recycling receptacles, so bins. A lot of communities have gone to the movable bins. And I think this year we're in the process of looking at potentially instituting a program. It won't be in 2014 likely, but potentially in future years because it requires a new recycling truck. However, our recycling truck is due for replacement, beyond replacement. And so it's a perfect opportunity for us to enhance our recycling collection program. So there's a potential it could happen in 2014, but it's not likely.
And the last question. What is the status of the Blue Jay project?
What's the status of the Blue Jay project? Well, Project Blue Jay has been a company that's been looking at moving into the city. Specifically, I can't speak to where the company is at because they haven't provided us a real recent update in the last week, but they have said that they are still considering Wisconsin Rapids as a potential site, and so we're just continuously responding to their inquiries, and we'll do so until we can get them to the city and show them around. I think it's going to be a great opportunity, as with all of these projects, to show off our city. And I think, as you heard me speak tonight, that our industrial park is now marketed. So whether it's Project Blue Jay or Project Midwest or whatever another project might come out there, it's our opportunity as a city, and we've got to be responsive. We've got to be ready with the right information that they're looking for. And I think we're making progress in that area.
Well, thank you very much, Mayor. And thanks to all of you who came out tonight on this cold evening to participate in what is very, very important part of your citizenship and being part of Wisconsin Rapids and the surrounding area. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for being here.